The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN. That is promo code NBA SGPN. Claim special pick and first time deposit offer $250 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no voice, no guy. It's me, Terrell Furman Jr. at your service. If you watch the Mothership show with Real Money Kramer stacking the money green, this is the equivalent to the Cowboys making the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. This is the equivalent, like the same, and that's why I never understood why people didn't understand my hatred of the Celtics, because everybody typically is a fan of the Mothership pod, and they do the exact same thing with the Cowboys. So what is the difference here? It's the exact same thing. This would be a sad situation if this was an NFL. This was the Cowboys got, but
Well, to be fair, the Celtics at least made a couple finals before this. Dallas hasn't really done anything like a year.
Yeah, Dallas fans make it seem like they've done more than they have, and maybe regular seasons are comparable, but playoffs are not. They're not. So, I mean, it's 3-0. So on the Cubs. Will Scott Studio Reichel, everybody. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beam me up.
Yeah, it's 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals. This kind of sucks as a fan viewer. Now, Boston winning isn't going to bother me as much as it's going to bother you, but in reality, I wanted some competitive basketball and some overall competitive titles. And right now, we don't have that. You're looking at the Celtics up 3-0. And once again, the Panthers went up 3-0 yesterday in hockey. So not much drama going on. Game 3 was entertaining. It was also a really wild game based on rotations for Jason Kidd, the timeout in the middle of a 20-2 run, which is one of the dumbest timeouts I've ever seen. There's a lot to unpack there with Jason Kidd just not really just making decisions that I think most people agree with. I know we talked about it briefly off air, the Jason Kidd timeout decision, which I think is absolutely wild that ended up happening. And then Boston immediately went on a run to close the game to win it right after that. But I saw Luka was losing his mind against Kidd after that timeout. But if we really want to break down game 3, Kyrie played very well. He had a game-high 35 points. Luka offensively was fine. He fouled out, which is unfortunate. It was a blocking foul. I'm not going to argue with it. It was a blocking foul. The issue that you had was maybe the Jaylen Brown hook foul right before it, which wasn't called. I think that was the bigger controversial decision, as opposed to the blocking foul. The issue is also Luka doesn't guard anybody. And I feel like people have been on Luka's case for a while about his inability to play defense. And I thought he looked better against like Oklahoma City and a couple of rounds ago. I just thought he looked a little bit better defensively. Still not a good defender by any means. Boston has torched him the entire series, and Luka defensively has been an absolute zero. I think we can say that, and I think that's a big reason why this team's down 3-0. Now, a big reason also is that the role players haven't really done much in this series. Tim Hardaway Jr., for some reason, was on the court in Game 3. That didn't go too well. Kleber can't shoot because his shoulder's messed up. There are serious roster issues right now with the lack of scoring depth that Dallas has. But Luka's defense is a big reason why they're down 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about both of the stars, Luka and Kyrie, both defensively not there, and that's what it was going to take, a really solid defensive effort in addition to the scoring that those two can give you. And they're not getting that from, I mean, honestly, not those guys, but not really much of anybody. Like, it's just bad all the way around. And I mean, hey, I could not imagine there's no power that is out there great enough to make them come back and win 4 straight games. But if it were to happen, it would quite literally be the funniest thing in the world. Like, quite literally, because everybody's hanging up banners. Even on opposing side, everybody is hanging up and calling this quiz. And the thought process is that at some point somebody's got to do it. You know, they talked about the 16 seed never beat a 1 seed, never would, all this stuff. Eventually somebody's got to do it. I don't think it's this group here. But when it does happen, we're probably not going to think it's that group when it does happen. So at some point, somebody is going to do this. Because didn't it happen in baseball? Didn't it happen in baseball?
Well, the Red Sox came back from 3-0 down in a series that I don't want to talk about, which was the ALCS back in 2004. So that did happen in baseball.
Oh, I'm sorry for re-traumatizing you.
It's happened a couple times in hockey. So hockey has been the most common with 3-0
Mhm.
comebacks. But for the most part, it's a very, very rare instance in sports. I'll tell you right now, though, a 16 beating a 1, that will not happen in the women's tournament. That is not going to happen in the women's tournament. So we can wait as long as
Hey
we want.
man,
That's
they
not
said
happening.
the same thing about the men, and then it happened, bro.
I'm just saying, I
Like,
believe in the women's March Madness tournament, a 16 and a 15 seed and or have never won a game. And they usually lose by like
yeah.
30. So the women's tournament, that's probably not going to happen.
I mean, like,
But
come on. It's like, and I'm not so it's like Notre Dame, USC, UConn, like NC State, Stanford. Like, oh man, I just couldn't imagine it. But I just can never say never, because maybe you get a fraudulent one in there one year. Maybe it's a really, really fraudulent one, Purdue, UVA levels, and it happens. I can never say never. But
I do want to ask you, though, since you brought up the 3-0 comeback, if we're speaking hypothetically, if we're talking about something that's never happened before happening now, what would be, I'd say, your checklist of things that need to happen for Dallas to actually pull off a miraculous comeback?
uh, for one, they have to step up defensively. And I think it's more of just being able to respond to runs. Like, the Celtics are going on a run and then there's no response. And there's no there's no nothing. Like, there's no adjustment. Like, it has to be Jason Kidd at the top. I think Jason Kidd has to instill a good game plan that, hey, Boston is going to do their thing. Boston is going to go on their runs. They're going to hit threes, but we got to be able to respond, and we got to be able to knuckle up defensively and not let them do that all game. Like, you can only hold them down so much, but if you can limit, then absolutely. So, I mean, it just seems like, but even with all of that, doing that 4 games in a row, it just seems like, it seems really, really crazy after you've like, you have no room for error. And that's really like the issue. And you see, I think it's how many series did they say got from 3-0 to at least game 7? Like, the reason they don't win in game 7 is because you don't have any room for error in one game and it's over. Like, it's just something that, I mean, I can't see it happening in the NBA. I really can't. And that's why I was like, you know what? Boston won. I admit defeat. They got it. Like, but it's gonna happen one day. I know for a fact it's gonna happen one day. I just can't see it happening, but I know it's gonna happen.
I still think the only way it's going to happen in the NBA is if there's a serious injury to a star player or a team goes up 3-0. Maybe like a Derrick Rose type of level injury that happens where the best player gets hurt and suddenly the entire series flips on its head. That's the only way I could see it. Basketball, we tend to see teams, once they figure another team out, it's kind of over at that point.
Mhm.
Unless you get a ton of shooting luck. Miami, we saw almost
Injuries,
blow
it's got to be like
yeah,
injuries, like,
injuries,
and that's
something
probably
like
going to
that.
play a
But
part whenever it does happen. That's probably going to play a part as well. It's probably going to be an injury that really, like, blows that too.
it's either going to be serious injuries or shooting luck. And we saw Miami last year almost blow a 3-0 lead. Technically, they did blow a 3-0 lead because they had to win game 7. Big reason for that was they shot the lights out in the first 3 games, and then their shooting numbers dipped. And that was kind of why they ended up losing 3 games. And then, unfortunately for Boston's sake, they came back from 3-0 down just for Tatum to get injured in game 7. So I feel like injuries will play a factor one way or another. But assuming Boston does stay healthy, I don't think Dallas can match up with this team for 4
And that's
straight
literally
games.
what it has to be. Like, it has to be some freak injury. I think that it has to be some freak injury, and then you're like, oh wait, hold on, because then You win a game at home. You have to win one game on the road. Then you give yourself a chance. So it's like it has to be a crazy injury, and nobody can predict that. Like nobody's predicting that. I don't care
No.
what anybody says. Nobody's predicting that. All right, let's talk about the game at hand. But before we do that, gotta talk to you about the college baseball experience, live streaming each night on YouTube, available for download wherever you get your podcasts. And the Circa has announced their $16 million guarantees and prizes for Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Sign up in Vegas and play from anywhere with footballcontestproxy.com. Promo code SGP to get $50 off. That is footballproxy.com, promo code SGP. All right. Let's see here. Game 4 on the docket, and they got to play the game. We have here for the pick Dallas and Boston in Dallas. Dallas is down 3 games to none. It is a pick. 211.5 is the total. Kristaps Porzingis is not playing in this game. I mean, he's questionable. I really don't think he's playing. Like, I don't know. Like, would it not be a horrible decision? Like, why are you playing him? There's no point in playing him.
I think he's done for the year.
Yeah, like
maybe
there's
in
no
theory a game 7, like
but yeah, even
moment, but
even if he is able to come back this game, why play him this game?
No,
Like, why
no
this
reason.
game? Yeah, no, just go home and then play him. Like, let him rehab. I don't know. I would be very, very shocked to see him play in this game. But
I think the only chance is if he comes back for game 7 for like a couple minutes. A Willis Reed type performance where it's just all hands on deck. We might blow a 3-0 lead. Maybe then he plays a minute or two. In reality, he should not play game 4. He should not play game 5. And he should not play game 6. I think we'd agree on that.
Yeah. So, question here is, if Dallas takes a lead in the third quarter, let's not say third quarter, or let's say they have a lead going into the fourth. Does Boston, and it's time starting to go, does Boston just pack it in and just say, let's just do it on the home court?
I actually don't think so. For a team that's been constantly, I don't want to say underachieving because they've made the finals, the Western Conference Finals, but a team that's been given title expectations for about
no, that's technically underachieving. Like, oh, you should win the title and you don't. That's underachieving. You
yeah,
didn't win the title.
but I'm saying for a team that's been expected to win at least one title already, that has not done so, I do not get the feeling that Boston's going to immediately roll over. Now, you could argue that they're going to still tighten up and maybe they're going to fall apart in the fourth quarter. We have seen that in the series. They've just been able to overcome it both times in game 1, and game 1 was more third quarter, but game 1 and game 3. I don't think Boston's going to roll over, though. I think Boston wants to end this thing. The question is, can they pull it off? And you forgot to actually play the minigame that we have before we get into the actual side.
Oh, yeah. We'll play a quick little game of which ref is it? And I mean, I've stripped him of the extender. I've stripped him of the extender title. Yeah. He was definitely getting a game. There was no way that he wasn't getting a game. Like, so they had him slotted in one of the first 4 games to make sure he got one, and it just so happens to be in game 4. I think they were expecting this would be 2-2 going back to Boston and not possibly 3-1, possibly 4-0. Like, so it's a lot of pressure on him. But I've stripped him of the extender title. He doesn't get the extender title right now. He's been bad. He hasn't been doing his job at all.
Yeah. Tony Brothers actually did a better job than he did throughout the course of the playoffs. But
he deserves it more.
But we like, have talked about it. He's still there. Do you think it matters or not? Let's start there.
I don't think it matters.
I'm leaning no. And I want it to matter, but I'm leaning no.
I would love it. I would love for it to matter, but I don't want it to matter. I mean, I don't think it matters. The only thing that I really think matters is that Luka has a really big ego, and I think Luka offensively is going to be really, really good because he got cooked defensively and he fouled out. He didn't get a chance to finish the game. And I know there's all these what ifs. What if Luka was able to finish? What if they still lost? Like, what if he finished and they still lost because they kept attacking him? Like, I mean, I just, nah, come on, bro. So That's the one thing that I feel good about, and maybe that leads to Dallas getting a game. But we're probably going to see an advanced level of Luka offensively today.
I think Luka needs to drop 35 or 40 if they're going to win this game. Because no offense to Kyrie, he was great in Game 3 with 35 points. Against Boston, I'm not automatically expecting Kyrie to drop 30 again. I think Boston actually has a pretty solid amount of guys that can match up with Kyrie to at least make life difficult for him. And Kyrie dropping 35 against a team that he's been awful against for the last couple of years, I think was asking a lot. And the fact that they blew the opportunity anyway, I think is pretty concerning, in my opinion. I know that you can expect Kyrie to have another revenge game. I'm a bit more skeptical of that. But I guess what I'm asking is, do you think Kyrie's more likely to drop 20 in this game or to drop 35 in this game? Because I'm going to lean 20.
Yeah, no, I actually think 20 because I have him at 25.
Okay.
I think he's at 25. I think Luka is a 40-65 between the two of them. They get some contributions here or there from, maybe a lively Gafford, maybe a 3 from Jones, and all of that. Like they're going to get a little bit of contributions, but honestly, truly, it's really do the Celtics want to win? I think it's do the Celtics want to win it on their home floor? Do you want to just win it on your home floor?
It would be
It's
pretty
been a
funny,
long time.
I was going to say, though, based on how bad Boston's been at home throughout the last couple of years, it would be pretty funny if they won the title on the road. That would kind of be fitting for the score.
Yeah,
For
it
just being
would.
honest,
Yeah, I'm not
but
gonna lie, it would. It would.
I feel like the one problem I have, though, with Dallas is that we were hoping that Dallas's best chance of winning, or we thought that the best chance of winning, would be if Luka and Kyrie went nuts together. And they combined for 62 points. And they still
And they
lost the
gave
game.
up. They gave up 62 points too.
My point is that they combined for 62. The entire supporting cast combined for 37. So Kyrie almost outscored the entire role player combo, with the exception of Luka, of course. And they still lost the game. So they already had their great duo game and they still lost. I feel like I'm running out of answers for Dallas here. Like, I don't know what they exactly can do against Boston because Tatum woke up. He had himself a solid game. Brown's going to probably win finals MVP. But you're just going down the line. It just feels like Dallas got the role players step up in the first couple games with PJ Washington, for example. Then Kyrie finally showed up for game 3, and they still lost. Like, I just have a hard time of finding scripts for Dallas to win when they've gotten multiple things to happen in different games, and they still lose these games. I
Mhm.
don't know if you feel the same way or not, but I just feel like you're asking a lot for
No,
Dallas
I
to beat this
mean,
team.
like you're at this point, yeah. I mean, you're down 3-0. Why should we have any confidence? And it's really no confidence in Dallas. And I think that's ultimately, and I think we talked about it off air too. It was like nobody actually like thought. It's like it's so funny because everybody, me leading the charge, was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna fade the Celtics here." Like, are they the better team? Yeah, but are we gonna take them? No.
To
Why?
be
Because it's the
to be
Celtics.
to be
Like, that's
fair,
why.
I think most people that took the Celtics also felt a similar way where they didn't fully trust this team, but they thought the
Because
matchup
like
was solid on paper. But I did
yeah.
pick Boston in 7, for example. So I thought Boston had enough to win the series, and I picked them to win the series. But I also was picking some of those demons to return where they were not going to be able to close games. And that has been an issue at various points in the series, but it just hasn't mattered because Boston's responded well after choking a massive lead, or Jason Kidd calls a timeout or something that kind of sabotages momentum. It just feels like Boston is a really bad matchup for Dallas, and Dallas just doesn't have enough answers. That's what it feels like to me.
Mhm.
So
But can
that's
they
gonna
get a game?
that's
I
gonna
said they
segue
get a
us into
game.
game
I
4.
said they
I
get a
mean,
game. What 3-1. 3-1 goes back and goes back to Boston, and then we'll have another discussion on gets in Boston. But I say they get a game.
but not because of Scott Foster. You're actually picking
No.
Dallas to show up for the game. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be Scott Foster. Scott Foster, he's lost that title. You're
I
no
think I
longer
am
cool.
gonna go with Boston
What's
in this game.
the Andy meme? I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah,
When
that's
he
fair.
drops Woody.
You can make that. If I'll tell you what, if
Get Scott Foster's face.
if Dallas gets
If
if
Dallas
Dallas
gets
gets
swept,
swept,
yo, that's it. We're done with Scott Foster.
it really is. That's a meme waiting
If
to
they get
happen.
swept, it's over. It's over for Scott Foster. We're making the meme. Jake, I know you're gonna see this, Jake. If Dallas gets swept, you got to make it. Just go ahead and make it and send it our way because we're automatic. We're done with them. We're done with them.
pretty
no
much.
good. He's
But
dead to us. He's literally dead to us.
I think for this game, I'm going to lean to Boston. I feel like if Dallas pulls this off, I wouldn't be totally shocked because the spread's basically a pick 'em or 1.5. But I just think once again, Dallas has gotten different game scripts throughout the entire series, and they've lost every game. It just feels like things have constantly gone poorly for Dallas in big spots, late in fourth quarters, or even just potentially giving up 35 to 19 third quarters. It just feels like Dallas is unable to play a full 48 minutes. Defensively, they've been a mess. Mostly Luka, who has to be on the court, and he's been playing Matador defense the entire series. So I just can't trust this team to actually get enough stops. And defensively, they've been okay. They've given up less than 108 in all three games. The issue is Dallas offensively. They've scored less than 100 points in every game. They can't score against this team because even when Luka and Kyrie combine for 60-plus points, nobody else has done a damn thing. And PJ Washington was pretty good in the first two games of the series. And Kyrie no-showed it. It just feels like they need everybody to show up for a game if they're going to win one. That's asking a lot, especially when your best bench player, the favorite for the first half of the season to win Sixth Man of the Year, can't see the court. Tim Hardaway Jr. forgot how to play basketball. That's a problem. Hardaway Jr. was one of your best bench players for most of the season. And now he's basically a DNP. You can't play him. He's been that bad. He has no confidence at all. Kleber could stretch the floor if he was healthy. He can't lift his shoulders above his head. So you have a serious problem on your hands where a couple of, I'd say, valuable bench pieces are now basically useless. And Dallas does not have enough depth, in my opinion, to match up with this team. So if you're going to rely on Derrick Jones Jr., who so far this series has been terrible from three, you're going to throw in what, like Dante Exum, Josh Green? Like, none of these guys have done anything in this series. PJ Washington's had a moment or two. Gafford and Lively have been fine, if you want to talk about them as a tandem, but I just don't think enough of Dallas' supporting cast is really threatening to Boston in the series. And when Tatum is having off nights, Jaylen Brown can step up. Drew Holiday can step up. Even like Horford or like Hauser can have a game where they're actually mediocre and they give you some okay minutes. Even Tillman was good in game 3. Boston's just throwing stuff at the wall and everything's working. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. So I'm going to go with Boston here. Don't get me wrong, if Luka drops 40 and they win, good for Dallas. I'm not going to be totally shocked. But I feel like a lot more needs to go right for Dallas to win a game than what needs to go right for Boston. I think Boston has a lot of plan Bs and plan Cs to win games. I don't feel like that for Dallas. I think Dallas needs everything to go according to plan if they're going to win a game. And I think I'm going to lean to Boston because of it.
Underdog Fantasy has Pick 8 now live in the NBA Finals. Create up to 8 picks with Underdog, and they will automatically double flex your entry. So you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. The best part is you can win up to 325 times the original amount, and you can use special boosts and bonuses and flex on those flex entries. So wait, we'll drop a little Underdog lineup at the end of the show. Make sure you sign up, though, with promo code NBA SGPN. That will give you a special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBA SGPN. Totals at 211.5.
I got to keep leaning under. Dallas can't
I'm
reach
on the
100.
under.
Dallas hasn't reached 100 in a single game in the series. I can't assume that they're suddenly going to go for 110. Even Boston.
And it's probably going to be a slow pace. They're probably going to slow the pace down, try to play out the half court, and get Kyrie and Luka going again. Like, it's pretty simple. And I just don't trust anybody, like anybody else. So it's
pretty simple. Isn't that what Scott Foster does, though? He calls a lot of fouls, and people think, oh, that's a great over game, but it's not because it kills the entire pace of the entire game.
Yeah.
So I can see that happening, but I'm going to go with the under. But you're looking at the 3 games, by the way. None of these games have been close to 211.5. None of the games have gone over, I believe, 204. You had 204, 203, and 196. So
and
these
Dallas
games
has
have
been
not been
under.
that close.
They've been under all playoffs. Like, they've been under all playoffs.
Because they play slow, and they can't really score. So I like the under.
I'm with you. There's no question, no comment there. All right. Player props in just a second, but got to talk to you about Rhythm. Make sure you are betting on the NBA player props. You need to download Rhythm. They have predictive models that were born from the brains of MIT data scientists, and They will help drive those AI back betting decisions. They have prop predictions. They have one thing, all these things. They have a whole bunch of things that one thing that you can use is Rhythm was on Tatum under assists and rebounds the other night when the world and Twitter said bet the overs. Like that, everybody said Tatum over assists and rebounds because he wasn't scoring. And that was the play. And you know what? Rhythm said, nope, stick with the data, take the under. That was the play. Robots know. Make sure you get your 7-day free trial with sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm and sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Make sure you use the Game Time app to go get your tickets to all. You can get them to MLB games, NBA games, WNBA games, even WWE matches. Like you can get tickets anywhere. All you have to do is go check out Game Time, and then they're also gonna give you this Game Time guarantee where if you find a ticket where it is in the same row, same section as you, and they paid less, then you can get credit 100 up to 110% of the difference. 110% of the difference. That's how much you're going to get credit. So go ahead, tap into Game Time. Make sure you use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Again, CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, player props. Luka. Is Luka leading? I think he's still leading in rebounds. Is he?
That wouldn't shock me. His rebounds have been fine.
I have to assume he has the lead.
Tatum's had a couple of off rebounding games recently, so probably is Tatum. I mean, it probably is Luka, but not by much. It probably is very close.
I gotta go and figure that out. Know where we stand on that. But I'm expecting a bounce back game. He had 6 rebounds in that last one. He had 10, 11 in the first one. I've been playing the rebounds, and I had him. That was one of my futures was Luka to lead this series in rebounding. I think Tatum was the favorite. And I just thought it was too much of a good plus price on Luka. I still think this is another spot where you can bat Luka rebounds again. And again, respecting a slow pace, under game. Maybe Boston really is start breaking a little bit more, and that creates more opportunity for him. I'm back at Luka rebounds again.
Okay. Anything else you want with Luka or just the rebounds? By the way, Tatum did have 6 rebounds last game, so Luka probably is leading. I didn't realize Tatum had 6 in the last game. So Luka's probably leading rebounder right now.
Yeah.
Do you think Jaylen
no,
Brown?
But go back to Luka. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm taking the points prop as well. The threes prop. I mean, I really think you don't go wrong with Luka today, and it's just because he's a very much clearly a petty individual, and actually, like they've thrown things at him, and it's worked. But I just think here in Dallas, like especially after the backlash and the ether mic drop by Wendy, like come on, man.
That was wild, by the way.
Yo, he went crazy.
He was on point, but why is Windhorse roasting Luka?
Yo,
he's like the insider guy. What that's kind of
like
out of
absolutely
pocket,
roasting him. And then it's like I know I'm not gonna say it. We're not body shaming here, but I just think it was
I'm just saying
just the aesthetic of watching it is really,
I thought it was
funny.
a great set of like points that Windhorse made. I'm just shocked Windhorse was the guy to say it because that's just not his role on ESPN. But he decided it was time.
It was quite hilarious. Like actually quite. You remember when Windhorse used to just be the LeBron guy? Like that's what I'm saying. He was just the LeBron guy. Like he was just the LeBron guy, and now he's cooking Luka.
Windhorse decided to roast Luka. Why would he do that? He just felt like it, I guess. I don't know. Took the time, but I mean, it was well put. I thought he had some good points. I'm just shocked Windhorse was the kind of guy to do it, but
he's gonna respond. And
I hope
think
he
Luka
does.
have a good day. I really think Luka have a good game. I just don't think much others will. All right.
I was going to ask you, by the way, do you think Jaylen Brown cements the Finals MVP?
He has to, right? He has to.
His points are 24.5. Well, he's minus 280 to win it, so he's in good shape. That's why I'm asking.
And if they're as supportive, if the team is as supportive of there's not a guy and it's both guys, you're going to force feed the guy that's in the lead for it right now.
I think he's in the lead for it because Dallas also can't match up with him.
Yeah,
So
but like they're gonna give him every opportunity to like. It would be on him to lose it at this point. They're gonna give
yeah,
because they constantly preach, oh, it's not one better than the other. I want both of them. You heard them. They say it. I want both. I like both. I want both of them. Like so that means if they all see it, they all know that Jaylen Brown's on the cusp of a Finals MVP. You got to force feed him the ball here, and he has the
and they
best
should.
matchup. He has by far the best offensive matchup.
And even though Tatum has been underwhelming for 2 of the 3 games in the series, a big reason for that has been Dallas's willingness to send extra bodies at him. So it
Yeah.
seems like they're willing to let Jaylen Brown just operate on an island, and they did that a bit more in Game 3 with Tatum, and Tatum had 30-plus points. So I am wondering if Dallas will revert back to their original defensive game plan, but it does seem like Brown is being left on an island either against Kyrie or Derrick Jones Jr., and nobody can guard him, like, at
Mhm.
all. So Brown should have a good matchup in this spot.
All right. Do we just keep going with the flip flop game? Last game was lively. Is this one Gafford?
I'm honestly just fed up trying to predict what's going to happen because
Hey
I had
man,
Gafford.
Gafford's at 4.5 rebounds, bro.
I know I had Gafford double last game at 15-1, and then Lively gets a double instead, which is a
Bro,
pain in
it's
the
the
ass.
flip. They're
But
just gonna flip flop.
I
It's gonna
know
switch.
it's Tierra
Let's go back to Gafford. Go back to Gafford.
Gafford, Tierra McCowan, same person. I can't back them. I just can't do it.
Bro, come on.
It's so annoying
I'm
trying to
going
guess
back.
the
I'm
game
going back
script
to
here.
Gafford. And Tierra McCowan just had a good game, bro. I'm going back to
Okay,
Gafford.
she did have a
Let's-
double. Technically,
She
she had a
did.
double
Like
in this game.
so. Come on. Everybody's telling you. Everything's telling you to do it. Let's do it. Where's the price on it? It's probably like crazy now.
Probably is. I mean, I wouldn't mind Lively again just based on activity, but
Yeah, I mean, I would play both and cover your bases, but I mean, you definitely play Gafford today, and it's just because they continue to flip flop. They continue to flip flop. It's fine.
I think if there was one guy on Dallas I'd buy into that's not a Luka, I actually do like PJ Washington in this series. He's been good,
Mhm.
just simply put. I feel like people haven't talked about him enough because one, they're down 3-0, and B, everyone's so focused on Kyrie and Luka just based on narratives. But you're going for Washington points and rebounds, and he's been solid in general so far in this series. I actually had that in game 2. Lonte got me into it, and that ended up working out. But I want to quickly just pull up what his points and rebounds are, because I know it was 21.5 for game 3, and that did go
Mhm.
under by a hook. It is 20.5 now at minus 104. He has had at least 21 in all 3 games of the series. In fact, he's had at least 21 in 6 of the last 7 against Boston. So PJ
Mhm.
Washington has randomly been really good against Boston.
It's
Give me PJ
it's
Washington at 20.5.
the narrative, like the timing of the missed threes,
Yeah,
and that's really what people are kind of sitting on. But yeah, PJ Washington's been fine. I like
yeah.
that play.
So he's gone over once again in 6 of the last 7 against Boston, including all 3 games in the series. So I don't mind the over 20.5 PR for Washington at minus 104.
Yep. All right.
I wanted
Next.
unders on Kleber and Tim Hardaway Jr., but the odds makers got scared and pulled all the props because they shouldn't have props on those 2 guys. Kleber can't shoot because his shoulder's messed up, and Hardaway Jr., it was so funny watching Derek White intentionally foul him. The refs didn't call it, and then Hardaway bricked a 3-pointer. That made me laugh so hard in the final 10 seconds of the game. Hardaway Jr. cannot see the floor. He should really be a DNP. He has no confidence. He can't play. I think you'd agree with that.
Yep.
So
I was very confused. I thought they should have gave the minutes to Dante Exum.
I would have, but Hardaway Jr. is one of the guys that got us here. All right, sure. Good luck with that. Okay, have fun.
No, I really thought the minutes should have went to Dante Exum. That was by far.
I think
The
they will go
adjustment.
to Exum. I think they're going to go to Exum, and probably Green gets more run time. Maybe Hardy, if you try to just give him like a microwave spot where he tries to give you some offense. Hardaway Jr., based on what we've seen, even the OKC series down the stretch, he should
Mhm.
never see the floor in the NBA Finals. Like, it's just not. It's not meant to be. Unless you're down 30, it's not meant to be.
If they
He was
drop it,
playing
Dante,
crunch time. You know how wild that is? Luka fouls out and they bring in Hardaway Jr. for like the final 3-4 minutes. What the hell is that?
as soon
I
as I
don't
saw
know.
him come in, I was like, yeah, that's it.
Pretty much.
I'd play Exum. I think if they drop Exum props, I would take a threes. If they told me that there was like plus money on 1.5 threes or something like that, or even a nice price on just one, I would take it.
I thought about Hardy. Maybe Josh Green 3. I cashed that in game 1. Maybe that could be worth a look. But yeah, I think that's basically it. I'm trying to think if there's much else that I really want here. I thought about maybe a fade of Horford. I know that in the last game he played, he hasn't really done much the last 2 games. He had 17 in game 1 for points and rebounds. He had 12 in game 2 and 13 in game 3. I don't mind the under Horford for PR. That's at 16.5, and you can find that at minus 118. I don't mind fading Horford in this game.
All right. Let's see here. Lock, dog, underdog, and we out of here. For my lock, under 211.5. It's not even a question. This is going to be a slow paced game. I already don't trust Dallas. I don't trust Boston at all. So this just is also just a blindly faded Boston's offense, just having a letdown spot here. But more of I really don't trust Dallas's offense at all. If they play, it's going to play slow. It's going to play through Kyrie and Luka. They'll probably have a good game, but they can't score 115 points by themselves. So under 211.5 for my dog. I'm playing Gafford.
Okay. You're going rebounds? Points, rebounds?
Rebounds. Let's see. Oh,
You're going for
wait.
6? You can take the 6 if you want to go
It's at
for an alt.
140. It's at 140 on the dot.
That counts if you want it.
Yeah. I'll take the 140. I'll take the 140 on the dot. I don't have to go for the bank. But I am playing that double-double at... Well, shoot. I can't find it. Oh, there it goes. What is this double-double price? Wow. Holy crap. 18-1. Holy crap. He's going to catch the double-double this time. And it's going to be crazy. But yeah. Gafford, 6+ rebounds. I'll take it at plus 140 because ultimately, I still think it is a spot, and it does. Things are a little bit easier without Porzingis in that lineup for the bigs. You saw that Lively was able to get the double game last game, and they just ended up giving the minutes to Lively. They've been just doing this on and off again thing with Gafford and Lively, and so I'm just gonna play the flip and say that Gafford gets the game today. But I still do recommend playing Lively over 8.5 rebounds. I think both plays can cash.
Okay, so I do want to ask you a question, though. Would you rather consider Gafford double-double at 18-1 or Gafford leading rebounder in the game at 35-1? If you had to pick between the two of them. Do you
Leading
think 10's enough?
rebounder in the game? No, I don't think 10 is enough.
Okay.
I don't think 10 is enough.
I'm just coming up with ideas, so that's why I was asking.
No, but that's a sweat. I'm adding that to the card. Thank you for letting me know, for sure. But I don't think 10 is enough because Tatum could have 10, Luka could have 10. I mean, shoot, what if I'm wrong and it is Lively? Like, there's a number of options, but 35-1 is still a kind of a misprice for that because it's not too many people that I would put ahead of them. Actually, it's just those 3 if I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to Lively minutes too being divided, so Lively could in theory be ahead of him. But you're picking a specific game script where he's going to play more minutes than Lively. So
35-1 is a nice sweat. Thank you, Scott. That's a nice sweat.
Yep, happy to help. Do want to point out for my lock, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take the under. So we are going to double lock up the under. I don't think I have a choice here. I thought about Dallas team total under, but Boston hasn't scored more than 107 either in the series. So if neither team has been able to light it up offensively to get to 108, and we've yet to get a game where both teams have reached 100+ points in the same game, why would I take the over? 211.5? Like, this line feels too high to me. Scott Foster, we know, despite his desire to be on TV and for his kids to see him on TV, he does kill the pace of these games, and Dallas wants to play slow anyway. I can see a lot of half-court inbounds, and that's going to kill the entire pace and the overall flow of the game, which bodes well for the under. I'll go with the under in this game as my lock as well. For the dog, I am going to go for a plus 140. I actually do like the price quite a bit. It doesn't really make any sense for a line because Luka to lead the game in the first quarter for scoring. Luka leading score first quarter is plus 140. His points are at 9.5. And Tatum is second at 7.5. So he's 2 points ahead of everyone else, and him to lead the game in the first quarter in scoring is plus 140. The math isn't mathing. So I'll take Luka to lead the game in first quarter points at plus 140 as my dog.
That's That's such a great dog.
He's added at least 10 first quarter points,
That's
by the
such
way.
a great dog.
He's added at least 10 first quarter points in 4 of the last 5 games. And in the last 2 games of the series, he's had 13 points in the first quarter. So he's been really good early in these games. 13 points in back-to-back first quarters. Yeah, I'll take him to lead the quarter at plus 140. I think it's a great price.
It's a really good dog. I'm really, really impressed. Very off the beaten path. I don't think we've had that as a dog all year, and it's a great play. Wow. All right, Scott. Anything else for people? For no underdog.
Yeah. Well, it's going to segue into what I like for a play. I like Luka first quarter points.
Oh yeah, I was rushing. I was rushing to find Luka first quarter points. It's at 9.
Sure.
Higher.
Yeah. Once again, 13 in back-to-back games. That's good enough for me.
No, I'm perfectly fine with 9. Higher. Let's go find Gafford higher on the 4.5 rebounds.
Okay.
Make that play.
Do you want a Celtic or do you want to go for? I don't mind Horford lower or Washington higher on 20.5 for points and rebounds. You want to go Horford? I like having a lower in there.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So we got Luka higher 9 first quarter points, Daniel Gafford higher 4.5 rebounds, and Al Horford lower 16.5 points and rebounds. It was the points and rebounds play, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Lower Al Horford 16.5 points and rebounds. That gets you 6x on Underdog. $100 gets you $600. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN now. Scott, is there anything else you want to share with people before we get up out of here?
Yeah, season might be over after tonight, so check out the WNBA show.
I mean, you should be. I mean, if you ain't been checking,
you should be watching it anyway.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, basketball's not
out.
over after tonight, so keep that in mind. There's still basketball going on, so just stop in.
If you're missing out on Scott, 53% of his locks cash, 30. Well, this is almost 40%. Almost 40% of his dogs cash. Me, myself, 30% of my dogs, cool, but 89% of my locks, 17-2 on the season. Lock number 20 is up on the NBA feed. Go check it out. Go head over. But 17-2 on my locks in the WNBA season already. I mean, I actually don't know what to explain.
17 or 18?
No, 17.
17? Okay. I wasn't sure because I know the Aces over won mid-show last time. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I updated it.
Okay,
cool. It was 16, so now it's 17.
All right.
But yeah, man. Yep. So here we go. Let's see how it goes. All right. Yeah. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating and review. Make sure, catching us on YouTube, like the video, give us a comment, all of that stuff. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. And yeah, definitely check out WNBA Gamble Podcast. We're having a great season. Other than that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do, no other way of ending the podcast. Just gonna do it like this. We are out of here.